Welcome everyone to David Dudley Outdoors, and today I feel is going to be a subject that's not really spoken about much by professional anglers or just anglers in general. We always talk about pre-spawn, then we jump into spawn, and then so on and so forth. But there's a 1 week period that is like its own identity, okay? So yes, it could be factored into the pre-spawn stage of bass fishing, or whether you're crappie fishing or bluegill fishing, it doesn't matter. But there's always a 1 week window where fishing actually gets extremely tough during the springtime. So that's what I want to talk about today, is basically the week before the spawn. So let's talk about a calendar month, okay? A calendar month, we're going to have 4 weeks in a period. So I'm just going to pick a month, okay? Just a random month. And yes, I got the FLW calendar, which features Terry Bolton, Brian Thrift, Aaron Martins, and actually me in June, Brad Knight. We got some high schoolers, Jacob Wheeler. This is a calendar, FLW calendar. So let's just pick the month of June because I kind of like June. That guy right there kind of looks like me a little bit. Yeah, I'd say that's me. So let's talk about the month of June. The month of June, we're going to look at a 4 week period. Now, I'm going to pretend, now, no matter where you're at in the United States, even if you're in Canada, not all fish spawn in June. Some fish spawn in May if you're down towards Texas, blah, blah, blah. Whatever month that they spawn at in your region, that's what you want to go with. But we're just going to talk about the month of June basically so I can illustrate to you the 4 week period. Okay, so pre-spawn is going to be before the spawn. But here's what happens during this 1 week period. So let's just say you're in June. It could be April, like in my area. April is when they're getting ready to spawn. The water is just getting to 58. And when the water gets to 58 degrees and you're on that full moon, you better start looking. 58 degrees is kind of my go-to temperature when I want to start looking for spawners. But this is not the week that I'm talking about. Now, I'm not talking about the spawn. I'm talking about the week before. So what happens during that one little week before the spawn? So week 1, let's get this right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're just going to illustrate this as the last week. This is the week that they typically come up to spawn, and this is going to be the week before. Now, leading up to it, when fish just come out of the winter haunts, they're coming out of deep water, they're coming up, they've been lounging around down there, suspended, chasing shad, all winter long. They're coming up. What are they going to be doing? They're going to be munching. They're going to be munching, looking for craw. They're just in a different element. They're up there, they're still suspended, but they're coming up shallow. So week 1 or all the way up to early spring pre-spawn, they're chewing, they're biting. You're throwing the A-rig, you're throwing the jerk bait, all these predominant spawn lures. So jerk bait, Alabama rig, wiggle warts, flat side versus wide wobble crankbaits, which that's a video that I have done in previous to this. So if you haven't seen the flat side crankbait versus the wide wobble crankbait, it was dealing with picking cold water crankbaits. Go back, check out that video. And just to throw you a little ball here, guys, I've come out with my own series of rods, Proficiency rods. Check those out. Fisherman's Central Warehouse is where you need to get all your tackle also. So now we're leading up to the pre-spawn, okay? So now it's like munching. And even up to the week here, guys, right here is the week they're spawning, chewing. Life is good. 30-pound bags, 30-plus pound bags, or whatever you live, chewing, just destroying them. Life is good. And then all of a sudden, you hit this week. And it's like, what the heck? Why can't I get a bite? What are they doing? Why do I suck? What's going on? And if you watch the Lake Fork videos, there's a lot of people, they got tournament videos out on that. If you watched my practice video from Lake Fork, you watched me catch a few on a square bill, and then I tried a little bit of wacky worm, and then the second day of practice, it was really tough. And then the second day of practice, I saw a movement happen. I saw a movement of fish come up. This is the week everything unfolds. And I'm going to give you an example of I'm going to tell you what's happening in this, but I want to give you an example of how quick these things happen. So you've seen the trees on the buds trees start budding out. Let's just say they budded out on Sunday. Good warm weather. We got 3 days in a row. Warm weather. So by Tuesday, you're seeing that green foliage you can still see through the woods, but you can't, it's not blocked your vision yet. And then the next day, by Sunday, all the trees are in full bloom. You can't even see through the woods. Things are greened up in 1 week. 1 week. The bass moved that same rapid pace. So let's talk about what do the bass do during that rapid pace? What do they do during that 1 week period that I'm talking about? Basically, it's this. They chew, 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 chew. They get to that week right before the spawn, and what's going to happen? They begin to preparing themselves for the spawn. They're not worried about eating. They're not worried about getting food because they did that to the weeks leading up to it. They were storing up fat. And then this week, right before the spawn, you'll go to the backs of the pockets and you may throw a lure and they're up there sunning. They're trying to get warm. They're getting their egg. They can feel the birth pains coming on. They can feel the sense of urgency. They know that it is their time to do their deal. It is their time to stay shallow a long time. It is their time in prepping for what they're about to prep for, which is nature taking care of itself, which is the natural order of God, which is producing offspring. So what happens during this week? Fishing gets extremely tough. It gets very tough. You can do everything in your mind. You caught them on a jerkbait the week before, it destroyed them, can't get them to look at it. You caught them on a swim bait the week before, can't get them to look at it. Why? Because it's that week where they're just prepping for the spawn. And even during the spawn, fishing can get very tough. And what I mean by that, fishing meaning just casting around, because they're still not in the eating mode, they're in the defensive mode. So a lot of times your lures comes over their head and they chase you away, they look, they threaten you, they do whatever. It's like a guard dog. They're not hungry, so that week before, like I illustrated, they're sunning, they're up there, they're prepared, then they go up there to make love, have babies, and even if you do catch them, they're only there defending what is the process that they're doing, okay? So guys, don't get frustrated for the week before the bass spawn or any spawn. Don't get irritated. Just know, just like the trees are changing that fast, the fish are also going to be changing that fast, getting prepared in what they're going to do. Stay calm the week before the spawn. Don't get frustrated. Still power through some of the pre-spawn and spawn techniques you know how to do. Keep an open mind. Guys, I hope you continue to watch these videos. Guys, go back, surf the channel a little bit. I got a lot there to offer. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I really appreciate you guys subscribing, commenting, hit the thumbs up, share this video, and I am out.